Hey y'all, so this is the area of polygon notes. This was actually the beginning of our very long geometry unit. And this is just sort of a refresher over using formulas when it comes to geometry and more specifically finding the area of polygons, which are just the inside space of different shapes. So first let's look at this first shape. This first shape is known as a square. So go ahead and write down that the shape name is a square. And the formula we have is actually in our star reference material. I will be referring to this about 2 more times after this, or maybe 3. But area, we are only giving the area of a triangle, a rectangle, or parallelogram, a trapezoid, or a circle. Remember that all squares are actually rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. What I mean by that is that a square is a type of rectangle. So the only unique thing about a square is that all the side lengths are the same. We use this same formula. A is equal to BH. A is equal to lowercase b and lowercase h. It is very important that we use a lowercase b because capital B is coming, and it will mean a different thing. But for now, lowercase b, and we're going to write it up here, stands for base, and lowercase h stands for height. The next shape we have is a parallelogram. If we take a quick look at our star reference material again, a parallelogram is also using the same formula. A is equal to lowercase b, lowercase h. What makes a parallelogram is that two opposite sides are parallel. So these sides are parallel to each other, and these sides are parallel to each other. Another thing about base and height that you'll hear me repeat a lot is the base and the height always meet at a 90-degree angle. So here in this case, our height would be 7 and our base is 7.7. And the reason I know that this is 7.7 is because a property of a parallelogram. If this is 7.7, this is 7.7. But the biggest thing I'm going to repeat today a lot is that the base and the height always meet at a 90-degree angle, meaning the lines are perpendicular. We'll see that throughout the notes as well. Our last shape on this side of the notes is a rectangle. And again, looking back at our star reference material, we use the same formula, area equals base times height. Just remembering that when two letters are next to each other, we assume multiplication. Great. Our next shape is actually a triangle. The triangle does have a different formula than a parallelogram, a square, and a rectangle. The triangle formula introduces a half in there. So we have that the area is equal to 1/2 base times height. Again, reminding ourselves that the base and the height always meet at that 90-degree angle. Here our height is 27 and our base is 24. Our next two shapes are actually kinds of trapezoids. The trapezoid formula looks nasty, but it's actually not that bad. It's pretty, in my opinion, fun to use. This first shape is a trapezoid. And again, the formula for that, I'm going to really tightly squeeze it in here, is A equals 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times the height. This shape is actually a right trapezoid, but it uses the same formula either way. Area is equal to 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times height. You may have heard me say it already. B1, and we're going to write it up here, just stands for base 1, and B2 stands for base 2. Trapezoids have two different bases. They're two different sizes. One's smaller usually, the other one's larger. But always still remember, the height and the base of a shape always meet at 90-degree angles. So notice here, 14 is the height, 24 is the base, but also the unique thing about trapezoids is that they have two bases. So this top base is also one of the bases, and we can say that here they meet at 90 degrees as well. So again, for trapezoids, think of the height as the distance between the two bases. Now, right trapezoid is slightly different. This number right here is not a straight line. It does not create a 90-degree angle, so it's actually meant to confuse you. The real height here is 10, as it stands between the two bases, which are 6 and 13. And notice again, you can find the height and the base by looking for those right angles. All right, we're going to go ahead and open up our notes, and we are going to start with the first section. The first section is going over the 3 types of shape that use the formula area is equal to base times height. So I'm going to do B with you, and then you'll do either A or C on your own. A is equal to BH, which is saying I don't know the area, but I do know that I need a base and a height. So I'm going to write B is equal to, H is equal to. Always remember, the base and the height meet at a 90-degree angle. So notice, this 90-degree angle is touching this line, and it's touching this bottom line. So my height is 7, and based on the things I know about parallelograms, if this is 7.5, this is 7.5, or not 7.5, 7.7, and this base is also 7.7. Now I have my base and my height. I'm going to plug it straight into my formula, and this will go straight into my calculator. Alrighty, you should plug something in like this, and when we press enter, our area is 53.9 inches squared. Alrighty, moving on, we're going to go over the next one, which is our triangle formula. Our triangle formula, remember, based on our star chart in the front of our notes, is area is equal to 1/2 BH. Another way you might see this is what's really happening is this 1/2 is dividing this guy by 2. So another way you might see this formula is BH over 2 to just show that, again, you're multiplying by 2. This is the most famous way you'll see it. I'm going to do the one in the center with you. We first start by writing down our equation, always, and remembering that the base and the height always meet at 90 degrees. So identify that 90-degree angle. Draw that line there where it meets. And we can see that the height is 8.5 because that's on the inside of my triangle. And my base is 10. It's not 9. 9 is at the bottom. I understand that some people think that the base is at the bottom, but it's where the 90-degree angle makes is where our height and our base is. So our base is 10. Now we plug this in. And then you can plug this into your calculator as well. Your answer should be 42.5 inches squared. Last but definitely not least is our trapezoid formula. Our trapezoid formula, again, is A equals 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times H. I'm going to do I with you. We start always by writing down our formula. And just by looking at my formula, I know that I will need a base 1, a base 2, and a height to find the area. So I need a B1, a B2, and an H. Always look for where the lines meet at 90 degrees. This is where you will find your bases and your heights. There's 2 90 degrees here. So my lines that get created are these right here. Remember, the height is always the distance between the two bases. So the distance between the two bases here is 10. And it doesn't matter which one you make base 1 or base 2 because at the end of the day, you're solving or you're adding them. So it really doesn't, again, matter which one you pick. I will just say this one's base 1, this one's base 2. So 6 for base 1 and 13 for base 2. You'll plug this straight into your formula. It would look like so. And honestly, plug this straight into your calculator. So we'll have 1/2, 6 plus 13. You can put the 10 in a parentheses as well. And my answer is 95. And we're talking about feet, so it'd be feet squared. And we are done. There's only one thing I want to make sure that you add to the very top of your notes over here. It is very important that we always, 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 always remember that the base and height always meet at 90 degrees or create perpendicular lines. Great. Remember, you're doing one of each section, so you can either do A or C, D or F, G or H, and get them checked by me. And thanks for hanging on through the notes. That's it.